Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama, Hare Hare. Yeah, Hare
Hare
Krishna, you can
Krishna
share.
Mataji.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
The screen is visible, Mataji.
Yeah,
Hare
yeah,
Krishna.
go ahead and read. Yes.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna Mataji. Chapter 82. The Lord Krishna and Balrama meet the inhabitants of Vrindavana. Continuation. As far as the gopis of Vrindavana were concerned from the very beginning of their lives, they did not know anything beyond Krishna. Krishna and Balrama were their life and soul. The gopis were so attached to Krishna that they could not tolerate not seeing him even momentarily when their eyelids blinked and impeded their visions. They condemned Brahma, the creator of the body, because he foolishly made eyelids which blinked and checked their seeing Krishna, because they had been separated from Krishna for so many years. The gopis having come along with Nanda Maharaja from and Mother Yashoda felt intense ecstasy upon seeing Krishna. No one can even imagine how eager the gopis were to see Krishna again. As soon as Krishna became visible to them, they took him inside their hearts, through their eyes, and embraced him to their full satisfaction. Even though they were embracing Krishna only mentally, they became so ecstatic and overwhelmed with joy that for the time being they completely forgot themselves. The ecstatic trance they achieved simply by mentally embracing Krishna is impossible to achieve even for great yogis constantly engaged in meditation on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna could understand that the gopis were wrapped in ecstasy by embracing him in their minds, and therefore, since he is present in everyone's heart, he reciprocated the embracing from within. Hare Krishna Mataji. Can I continue next para?
Yeah, please go ahead and continue.
Krishna was sitting with Mother Yashoda and his other mothers like Devaki and Rohini. But when the mothers engaged in talking, he took the opportunity and went to a secluded place to meet the gopis. As soon as he approached the gopis, the Lord smiled, and after embracing them and inquiring about their welfare, he began to encourage them, saying, "My dear friends, you know that Lord Balrama and I left Vrindavana just to please our relatives and family members. Thus, we were long engaged in fighting with our enemies and were obliged to forget you, who were so much attached to me in love and affection. I can understand that I have been ungrateful to you, but still I know that you are faithful to me. May I inquire if you have been thinking of us although we had to leave you behind? My dear Gopis, do you know dislike remembering me, considering me to have been ungrateful to you? Do you take my misbehavior with you very seriously? Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna. So, very clearly, what they are telling is, that Krishna left and went, right? So it looks like they were so much deeply in love and they just walked off. So that was a very ungrateful scene. But then he says that don't worry about it. It is not about being ungrateful or something. It is that you don't have to feel in that kind of a fashion. It is nothing to do with that. In spite of me trying to walk out of you people have never had any kind of distress or disconnect with me. So that way he is very grateful. Yeah, so that he is trying to appreciate. Yeah, go ahead and read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. After all, you should know that it was not my intention to leave you. Our separation was ordained by Providence, who, after all, is the supreme controller and does as he desires. He causes the intermingling of different persons and again disperses them as he desires. Sometimes we see that a strong wind will mingle together clouds, atomic particles of dust, or broken pieces of cotton, and after the strong wind subsides, all the clouds, particles of dust, and pieces of cotton are again separated, scattered in different places. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is the creator of everything. The objects we see are different manifestations of His energy. By His supreme will, we are sometimes united and sometimes separated. We can therefore conclude that ultimately we are absolutely dependent on His will. Fortunately, you have developed loving affection for me, which is the only way to achieve the transcendental position of association with me. Any living entity who develops such an
Another.
devotional, unalloyed devotional affection for me certainly at the end goes back home, back to Godhead. In other words, unalloyed devotional service and affection for me are the cause of supreme liberation.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you so much. Somebody else can take over. Hare Krishna. So, what they are talking about is Krishna's permanent love and affection is so strong that they are unable to leave. But any relationship here is whether they come together or they go apart is all at the will of Krishna. Obviously, don't tell that, okay, I fought and the relationship broke and that's at the Krishna's will. That's not what he's talking about. Our efforts, endeavor should be there in any relationship. But ultimately, he's saying that. So obviously, he is the province, but he's bringing this up to convince the Gopi friends. So he's still continuing. Yeah, go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, my dear Gopi friends, you may know from me that it is my energy only which are acting everywhere. Take for example, an earthen pot, it's nothing but a combination of earth, water, air, fire, and sky. It's always of the same physical composition, whether in the beginning, during its existence, or after its annihilation. When it's created, earthen pot is made up of earth, water, fire, air, and sky, while it remains in the same in composition. And when it is broken and annihilated, its different ingredients are conserved in different parts of the material energy. Similarly, at the creation of this cosmic manifestation, during its maintenance and after its after its after its ingre- where it's called?
This solution, Mataji,
Solution.
after its dissolution, everything that
This,
paragraph.
yeah. My energy is only which very well. Take for example, earth and water. It's nothing to do with the earth, water, and fire and sky. It's always the same physical composition. Whether it is beginning, during its existence, after its annihilation, it's created. The earth and water is made up of earth, water, fire, and sky. We mean that it is the same composition. When it is broken and annihilated, the ingredients are conserved in different parts of the material, and and similarly, and in the creation of the cosmic manifestation, during its maintenance and after its dissolution, everything is but a different manifestation of my energy, and become the energy is not separate from it. It is to be concluded that if I'm existing in everything, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
can I continue,
Yeah,
Mataji?
please
Yeah.
continue.
In the same way, the body of a living being is nothing but a composition of the five elements, and the living entity embodied in the material condition is also a part and parcel of me. The living entity is imprisoned to the marvel condition on the account of the false composition of himself at the supreme enjoyer. The false ego of the living entity is a cause of the imprisonment of material existence. As a supreme absolute truth, I am transcendental to the living entity as well as to the material embodiment. The two energies, material and spiritual, both acted under the supreme control. But my dear gopis, I request you that instead of being afflicted, you try to accept everything with a philosophical attitude. Then you will understand that you are always with me and that there is no cause of lamentation in our being separated from one another. One another. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So he's telling that all that is made of Panchabhutas, whether it's a pot and he's a cause for the Panchabhuta. Many times people tell, I built this building and all that. But bottom line is very clear. You have built means you have been instrumental in building. The raw materials for the building is also come. So even for vegetarians, when they say, I eat vegetarian food and all that, that is also coming from Krishna. Now, if you are telling, no, I'm a non-vegetarian, even for the non-vegetarian food, it has to come from Krishna, right? So it is not a justification to eat that, but the fact that it is all coming eventually from Krishna. So Krishna is saying that, that he's a part of everything. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji. And who is there? Who, Mataji? Or
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji. This
Hare
important instruction by Lord Krishna to the gopis can be utilized by all devotees engaged in Krishna consciousness. And the whole philosophy is considered on the basis of inconceivable simulators
Simultaneous.
Oneness and difference. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that he is present everywhere in his impersonal feature. Everything existed in him, but still he is not personally present everywhere. The cosmic manifestation is nothing but a display of Krishna's energy, and because the energy is not different from the energetic, nothing is different from Krishna. When this absolute consciousness, Krishna consciousness is absent, we are separated from Krishna. But fortunately, if this Krishna consciousness is present, then we are not separated from Krishna. The process of devotional service is thus revival of Krishna consciousness. And if the devotees is fortunate enough to understand that the material energy is not separate from Krishna, then he can utilize the material energy and its products in the service of the Lord. But in the absence of Krishna consciousness, and the forgetful living entry, although part and particle of Krishna, falsely puts himself in the position of enjoyer of the material world and being thus implicated in material and entanglement is forced by the material energy to continue his material existence. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Although a living entity is forced to act by the material energy, he falsely thinks that he is the all in all and thus supreme energy, supreme enjoyer. In the devotees knows perfectly that the Archa Vigraha or the deity
Deity.
deity from of Lord Krishna in the temple is exactly the same same succeed Ananda Sachidananda Vigraha as Krishna himself, and then his service to the temple duty become direct a service to the supreme personality of Godhead. Similarly, the temple itself and the temple
Apparently,
permanently and the food offered to the deity are also not separated from Krishna. One has to follow the rules and regulation prescribed by the archer, and
Acharyas.
thus under superior guidance, Krishna realization is fully possible even in this material existence. Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Thank you so much. So what they are telling is Devi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva. Mataji, you can continue one more para. I think last para we have. So Pushpa Mataji can read. I think it's just check how many paras are there. So it is very, very extremely less in terms of yeah, very,
4 para is there,
yeah, we can
Mataji.
finish it off.
Still.
So that is also part and parcel of Krishna. So that is what they are talking about. And Achavidya is nothing but Krishna conscious only. Pushpa Mataji, you can read Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, we can finish this, I think. Please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
The gopis have been instructed by Krishna in his philosophy of simultaneous oneness and differences, remain always in Krishna consciousness and thus become liberated from all material contamination. The consciousness of the living entity who falsely present himself as the enjoyer of the material world is called Jiva Kosa, which means imprisonment by the false ego. Not only the gopis, but anyone who follows these instructions of Krishna is immediately freed from the Jiva Kosa imprisonment. A person in full Krishna consciousness is always liberated from false egoism. He utilizes everything for Krishna's service and is not at any time separated from Krishna. Gopis therefore prayed to Krishna, Dear Krishna, from your navel emanated the original lotus flower, which is the birthplace of Brahma, the creator. No one can estimate your glories or your opulences, which therefore remain always a mystery even to the highest thoughtful men, the masters of all yogic power. However, the conditioned soul fallen in the dark well of this material existence can very easily take shelter of your lotus feet. Thus, his deliverance is guaranteed. Hare Krishna, may I continue?
Yeah, I think how much more is there?
Still
Yeah,
one
last
para
para.
is there.
Ah.
Yes, the last para, Mataji.
Yeah, we'll finish, Mataji. Go ahead, continue. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Mataji. The gopis continues, Dear Krishna, we are always busy in our family affair. We therefore request that you remain within our heart as the rising sun. That will be your greatest benediction. The gopis are always liberated soul because they are free in Krishna consciousness. They only pretended to be entangled in the household affair in the Vrindavan. Because of their separation from Krishna, he might have asked them to return with him to his capital city Dwarka. But the inhabitant of the Vrindavan, the gopis, were not interested in the idea of going with the Krishna to Dwarka. They wanted to remain busy in Vrindavan and thus feel the presence of Krishna in every step of their life. They immediately invited Krishna to come back to the Vrindavan. This transcendental emotional existence of the gopis is the basic principle of Lord Chaitanya's teaching. The Rath Yatra festival observed by the Lord Chaitanya is the emotional process of taking Krishna back to Vrindavan. Srimati Radharani refused to go with the Krishna to Dwarika to enjoy his company in the atmosphere of royal opulence, for she wanted to enjoy his company in the original Vrindavan atmosphere. Lord Krishna, being profoundly attached to the gopis, never goes away from Vrindavan, and the gopis in the other residents of Vrindavan remains fully satisfied in the Krishna consciousness. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the 82nd chapter of Krishna. Lord Krishna and Balram meet the inhabitant of the Vrindavan. Hare Krishna Mata.
Hare Krishna, very beautifully read. Thank you so much. So Krishna never read Vrindavan. Krishna was always been in Vrindavan all the time. The reason being Krishna, as Vasudev, right? Vasudev's son, Vasudev Krishna, he is the one who leaves Vrindavan. But when he is coming to Vrindavan, he enjoys as the Krishna, which is the original Goloka Krishna. So with this we'll end, and tomorrow we'll see how Draupadi will meet Krishna. So with this we'll end. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnav Jai Srila Prabhupada Jai Namacharya Haridas Thakur Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare